everyone, and welcome to week 2 of Sjogren's Awareness Week with Dr. Bexi Lobo, and I'm Amy Graves, a food educator, speaker, and author of The Hidden Consumer, Uncovering the Power of Health-Conscious Buyers. I had the book ready this week. Yes. Dr. Bexi and I are going to talk today a little bit about inflammation, fatigue, and that impact with Sjogren's and what to expect. But we're really going to talk more about how Sjogren's really impacts our skin. So that was a big part. When we wrapped up last week, that was our conversation is there's so much more to talk about. I'm like, yes, we got 3 more weeks. So Dr. Bexi, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Sjogren's and why Sjogren's Awareness Month is so important?
Absolutely. So I'm Dr. Bexi. I'm a nutritional biologist, a writer, patient advocate, and a business owner. I own a skincare business providing skincare made from whole foods to revitalize your skin. So we impart life and vigor back to it, increasing its functionality so you don't have to have a very complicated skincare routine or regimen. And so this week, in terms of raising awareness of Sjogren's, we're talking about how Sjogren's impacts the skin. So one of my most visible signs of Sjogren's disease, long before my blood tests showed anything, long before the fatigue really showed up, was the fact that I had really dry skin, painfully dry skin. And that happens for multiple reasons. One, your immune system attacks the moisture producing glands in your body. You have multiple ones all over, including what are called sebaceous glands. Those are the glands in your skin that produce the oily, waxy substance that gets secreted onto your skin and provides barrier protection. So in healthy skin, that oil production is balanced so that you get this nice coating of oils and wax on your skin that keeps it moisturized, prevents water loss from your body, but doesn't make your skin super oily. When that is gone, you've lost one of your barrier protections. So that's one of the main ways Sjogren's disease affects your skin. There are lots of other ways, but in the interest of time, I'm going to focus on just the dryness aspect, right? Which is
Right.
the dryness is the thing that Sjogren's is most known for. It's kind of a myth that it's limited only to dryness, but today we're going to address the dryness. There are many systemic manifestations of Sjogren's that we'll talk about in later episodes.
Yep.
So what that does, so in healthy skin, you have kind of four defenses against the environment. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And conventional skincare treats your skin not as an organ, but as this blank canvas that's static and doesn't respond to your environment. But that's very far from the truth. The truth is your skin is constantly interacting with the environment and then with your body. So it's highly innervated. It's got tons of nerve fibers you've got tons of nerve fibers in your skin, tons of blood vessels, and your immune system is right there also providing protection. So in your skin, you kind of have 4 layers of protection, right? You have the sebum, the oily, waxy substance on your skin that provides protection. Then you have your actual cells, your epithelial cells. And those cells have a shape that's very similar to tiles. So they fit together like tiles and grout, and they provide a barrier, a physical barrier, and that is selective. So your skin, when it's functioning properly, can actually decide what to let in and what to not let in. So usually it prevents pollen and pathogens from getting in, and it'll allow in nutrients and other things. It also allows sweat and other waste products to be excreted from your skin. So that's the selectively permeable membrane. Your skin is a selectively permeable membrane. And then you have, I missed the very first one, on top of your sebum. So your sebum is oily and waxy, and that is the part, you also have then microbes growing on that, right?
Yes.
So you have bacteria, viruses and fungi that grow and feed off your sebum. And so that's your first layer of protection, because if that ecosystem is healthy, then you're not going to have an imbalance that creates an infection in your skin.
Yeah.
So an infection is really an imbalance of the microbes on your skin. And then the final layer, so microbes, sebum, epithelial cells, and then your immune system is your final barrier protecting you against whatever's in the environment. So when you have dry skin, you already have three of those layers of protection compromised, right?
Right.
Because you don't have appropriate sebum production, your microbial balance is completely off, because
Yep.
they're growing and living off that oily, waxy substance, right?
Okay.
So you
Yep.
have skin dysbiosis. So an imbalance in your microbiome, your skin microbiome.
Okay.
Then you don't have that oily, waxy substance providing a physical layer of protection, preventing dehydration. You also, in Sjogren's, then also have inflammation and a compromise of the epithelial barrier. So there's actually, if you imagine it like tiles and grout, the overly simplistic way of imagining it is to think that the grout is gone. And so there are little cracks into which pathogens, pollen, whatever's in the environment, chemicals from the products you put on your skin enter your skin, enter your bloodstream, and trigger your immune system.
Ugh.
So, if
Yep.
you are living with a chronic illness where you have chronic inflammation, one of the main things you want to do is reduce your chronic inflammation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and why do you want to do that? We'll go into that a little bit first. Inflammation is energetically extremely expensive. It takes a lot of energy to rev up
Yeah.
your immune system. It takes up a lot of nutrients. The reason
Yep.
you get supplemented with vitamin D is because vitamin D is one of the main nutrients required for your immune system to function properly.
Yeah.
So some of your fatigue comes from this huge energy cost you have to mount this inflammatory reaction. So when you
Mhm.
take care of your barrier, your skin, when you have healthy functional skin, you reduce the amount of stuff from the environment getting into your bloodstream and triggering your immune system, revving it up, and burning energy for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And inflammation, I mean, it seems like no matter what your chronic illness, inflammation is a major part of it. And when you talk about that energy, like it brought back because I have complex regional pain syndrome, type 1, in my left arm. Thankfully, I've done enough understanding what my body needs, so I've reduced it. So you can't tell. You can't tell by looking at my hands anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but if you think it's an inflammation disease,
Yeah.
so like my body says, "Oh, you're in pain." I'm not. My body decides you're in pain. So it immediately sends signals to the brain. You got to, increase the swelling in this area.
Yeah.
Well, then as the swelling builds up, then you get actual pain signals saying, "Hey, we're in pain." So
Yeah.
more swelling develops and it's this horrible cycle and it's exhausting. It
Yeah.
is physically exhausting to go through. And unless you are someone who deals with chronic pain, you don't understand. You hear inflammation and you almost like cringe because it just makes you tired thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, like in the work I do, a lot of the things I teach people is our food actually makes inflammation worse.
Yes.
So how do we understand what we feed our body so that we can reduce those inflammation cycles so we're not as fatigued? But in Sjogren's, obviously it's a huge part of managing your condition. Um, as someone who deals with I'm sensitive to corn and corn derivatives. Moisturizers were one of my biggest, like, I couldn't figure out for the longest time why moisturizers actually dried my skin out, right? And a lot of it goes back to all the ingredients. Like I can't buy any moisturizers at the like everything is ordered.
Yep.
There's nothing in a
Yep.
store I can buy because the ingredients are so poor quality. But it's interesting when you don't have the right ingredients, you can't properly care for your skin, which is going to lead to so many other issues,
Right.
which is a lot where your product line comes from too. Do you have now, what product specifically do you have that really addresses like dry skin and helping people with that aspect?
So all of the products I have address dry skin. It's really a matter of when you use the product and for how long you're using it and what your body needs at that time. And that's highly individualized, right? Because what the approach I took to skincare was the approach is a nutritional approach. So
Right.
nutrition provides the building blocks your body needs to function properly, repair, and grow, right? So they're little Lego blocks that fit in perfectly and allow your body to function. Okay, that's true for the gut and true for your whole body. You know that when you switch from eating processed food to whole foods, you feel better. And there
Yeah.
are multiple reasons for that. But it boils down to you're providing your body with what it needs to function properly, repair, and grow.
Yeah.
So we don't actually do that. Conventional skincare doesn't do that, right? What conventional skincare does is provides a synthetic barrier for
Yeah.
your skin. It provides band-aids for all the various symptoms, right? Lotion
Mhm.
is basically mimicking the your sebum and providing that top layer of protection to prevent dehydration.
Yeah.
But if you look at the ingredients in lotion, they're not really microbe friendly, right? Can you
Mhm.
imagine microbes eating the stuff that's in lotion and thriving? Because I can't, and I know it doesn't work because it does, right?
Right.
So when I formulated my products, I wasn't looking for symptoms, band-aids for my symptoms. I was done with that, right? I was sick of slathering lotion on 4 times a day. So I went
Mhm.
solving the problem. How do you solve the problem? Well, by providing your skin and your skin microbiome with the building blocks they need to function properly, repair, and grow. That's
Yeah.
going to be different for each person based on their nutritional status, their diet, what they've been putting on their skin, what their disease or what their health status is, right?
Yeah.
And that dictates then what products we use, what products from the Bexi's line we use, and when we use them. What usually happens in the approach is you have a period. It's like a garden, a really overgrown, out of control garden that's left
Yeah.
and gone to the weeds. We're going to go in there and weed it and then fertilize it and seed it with proper plants and
Yeah.
nutrients and
Yeah.
kind of encourage it to get growing to become more self-sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I do with your skin, right? We're looking at your microbes and your skin and your health and your nutritional intake and balancing all of that. And then I'm teaching you how to use my products as tools to address your skin's needs. And you're
Yeah.
learning how to communicate with your skin, and you're learning what various signals from your skin mean, and then what
Yeah.
tools use at what time.
Uh, well, and it's such a change in thought process, right?
It is.
The modern cosmetic industry teaches us you have to use this product, and this product this time, this time, this time. You should be replacing it like every 30 days. They want you to keep and reality is that's not how your body works. It's a
Exactly.
living organism.
Yep.
As you stress out, as you have happy moments, it's going to change that complexity of your skin. So like my cleansing products, I never do like an automatic sign up because there's no point.
Right.
I can go 6 to 8 months on one bottle of cleanser,
Yep.
or I can go 2 months based on what I just put my skin through. How much makeup that I shouldn't have been wearing did I wear in the last 2 months? Oops. Right?
Exactly. That is the
Yeah.
approach.
Yep. So you have to
But
think
that doesn't
differently about your skin. Yeah.
correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that doesn't make but that doesn't make the skincare industry money, right? That's not a profit driven
No.
model. That doesn't
We're all
have
about the
customer.
dollar at the end of the day. Yeah. Yes. The when you base it on people's skincare routine and keeping them healthy, it doesn't actually make you money if you're doing it the right way.
Exactly. Because you should be able to. Your skin is self sustaining, just like the rest of your body. If it
Yeah.
has what it needs to function properly, grow, and repair. There
Yes.
are multiple components in that. What does it need, right, to do that?
Yep.
But um, if you have that, it is self-sustaining, and you can go 6 to 8 months on one bottle of something. That's routinely once my clients move from revitalization to maintenance phase.
Yep.
They're buying from me like every 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
So, but in the revitalization phase where they're putting all of that nutrition back into their skin, and we're really working hard to balance everything and get everything sustainable,
Yeah.
they're buying stuff every month, every couple of weeks, because that's what it takes, right?
Yep. Yeah, you gotta repair your skin, and you can't repair it just overnight. It takes time
Right.
like everything else. So,
Right.
okay, we are gonna wrap up. Dr. Bexi, this was a great conversation. I loved it again.
Thank you.
Can't wait for next week's. If you guys have questions or want to learn more about Dr. Bexi's line, what I want you to do is go to your pick up the Shop app off your phone out of the App Store. You can find her on the Shop app under Bexi's Bespoke Revitalization. You can also just Google Bexi's Bespoke Revitalization and you'll find her website. So find her products. And if you're curious about watching our past episode, swing over to my YouTube channel at Hidden Consumers Consulting, and you can find all my past live streams. With that, we are going to say thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us this week. We will see you next week for another fun conversation around Sjogren's, skincare, and what we can do to protect our skin and stay healthy moving forward. So have